Hey, what's up guys? Kieshadilla here, and today I want to talk about cutscenes, gameplay, and what happens when you try to mix the two. So, let's get to it! Cutscenes in games are meant to establish context, build a world for the game, and give the player a break from playing. The actual game is where the player experiences action. This is the traditional setup for games. However, some developers tried to blend the two by having action-based cutscenes or context-driven gameplay. The cutscenes where it's nothing but people shooting guns, fighting, and doing cool acrobatics. And the gameplay where the player does something that is drastically different than what the game is built upon. A perfect example of this is Halo 5. There are cutscenes in this game that serve no contextual or story-driven purpose, and the cutscenes that are aimed to establish a form of world building does nothing that can't be established through gameplay. Take the cutscene at the end of the mission, Unconfirmed. Team Osiris finally catches up to Blue Team as they're entering a portal. Locke confronts Chief about coming back to the Infinity with them, only to escalate in an all-out brawl between the two. Some fans say that this would have been the perfect opportunity to have a boss fight with the main protagonist of the series. This way, the player could experience firsthand how disconnected Team Osiris feels from the Chief morally by having to fight against the character people have played as for years and have grown to love. Now, when people say boss fight, they don't mean a quick time event as done in the past, which received an insane amount of criticism. They mean a proper challenge, where the player uses the Spartan abilities learned from previous missions against a character that shouldn't have the same abilities. Thrusting, ground pound, etc. I kind of imagine a boss fight where the player uses the left and right triggers to punch and is able to bring up the armor restraint to use on the Chief. The Chief would be slower since he shouldn't have access to the same abilities Locke has. And even more, after that ordeal and Team Osiris is escaping the area, that whole obstacle course that they ran through could be an opportunity to have the player test their skills with Spartan abilities. This cutscene is a perfect example of cutscenes that seem like they were just made to show off the console's graphical potential. This does not at all help the game itself. The reason why someone plays a game is to experience action, to play, to engage. And when you take the control away from the player to only show more action that isn't for, let's say, character development, then it's wasted potential. Why is the player watching action? The player should be in the action. This kind of movie favoritism that occurs not only in Halo 5, but in the industry itself, is hurting what the medium is supposed to be. Now, there are action-based cutscenes that do serve a purpose, let's be clear. Like I just said, if it's for character development, then it can work. For example, the fight scene between Master Chief and Locke. This fight isn't just to go, whoa, cool. It's something that was teased throughout the game, even before the game with all the marketing. It was the big payoff. Spartan versus Spartan. It was supposed to be a huge clash of morals between two people seemingly on the same side. Now compare the goal of this scene to the scene where Team Osiris kills Jewel Mdama and his squad to save Halsey. It would have been cool to actually fight Master Chief in some way, and it definitely 100% would have been better to kill Jewel Mdama yourself than watch a character do it, don't get me wrong. But there is potential for action-based cutscenes if done correctly. Now on the flip side, there are times in the game where the game becomes a walking simulator and you just go up to people, press a button and talk to them. Take the mission Alliance, for example. In all the previous missions you were out in the field blasting dudes left and right, being the badass Spartan that you are. You know, playing Halo. Now you're chilling having some coffee with Sarah Palmer and the elites? The entire mission can be done in a minute. Go up to her, press X, go over there, press X. Great game! Gold star! Outstanding military achievement! This mission is meant as a precursor for the big battle coming, right? You're at the base and you're talking to people getting ready for the big fight on St. Helios. The idea is that you're supposed to feel the calm before the storm here. Get to know the characters that are going to be on the field with you. One could say, well, Halo 3 did a similar thing with the mission Rat's Nest, to which I say, no, it didn't. Rat's Nest starts out with the player walking around, hearing the military drum and trumpet playing as they walk through the corridors of injured soldiers and seeing the result of this war before grabbing a weapon and going into that same war. A more appropriate similarity would be the mission Glass, where the player walks through the station hearing the worried voices of soldiers before going to the battle that is happening outside. Plus, this was part of the mission, it wasn't the whole mission. Just imagine a level like a box. Every box is treated equal to all the rest. You don't know what's in them. Once you open a box and see what's inside, you can then judge that box from all the rest. One box is not a setup for another box. One level is not a setup for another level. This is blatantly obvious that this was done to advertise how many missions the game has. One of the big complaints in Halo 4's campaign was it felt too short. So when 343 Industries released information that Halo 5's campaign would have way more levels than Halo 4's, people got excited and wanted to buy the game more. But when people actually played it, there were levels that weren't actual levels. A punch to the fan base's gut. When that level is over, you think to yourself, what did I accomplish? And when the level can be completed in like a minute, the player feels like they did nothing. And one could say, well, you know, these levels are filled to the brim with Easter eggs. They have substance. To which I say, no way. Easter eggs are cherries on top. They are not gameplay. If a level in a game like Halo has nothing else but Easter eggs and should be considered as full of a level as its counterparts, then, well, I suppose that eating a giant steak meal with a bunch of appetizers and drinks from a 5-star restaurant is equal to eating a cherry. If they didn't think that these levels were equal in their content, then they should have said 15 levels, but really only like 12 because some you just walk in. Unless to serve a purpose that betters the experience on the player's end, cutscenes and gameplay should just be cutscenes and gameplay. When mixing the two, the developers themselves are playing a risky game. If you like this video, then hit that like button down there. Subscribe for more videos like this. You know it's all good. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.